Welcome to the Balanced Blood Sugar Podcast, where we focus on everyday wellness for everyone. I'm Adrienne Wheat, a registered nurse, here to share tips, habits, and lifestyle shifts that can help you feel your best by stabilizing blood sugar and improving your overall health. Everything we discuss is designed for general health and routine education because everyone deserves to feel empowered with the right information. But I'm not your personal nurse, so make sure to check with your healthcare provider before making any changes. Let's dive into today's episode. Hi, friend, and welcome back to another episode of the Balanced Blood Sugar Podcast. I'm your host, Adrienne Wheat, registered nurse, holistic wellness guide, and your cheerleader when it comes to living lighter, steadier, and more in tune with how God designed your body to thrive. So today we're cracking open another spring cleaning topic that's as practical as it is powerful. Spring cleaning your kitchen. Yep, we're going beyond dusty top shelves and expired cans. This is about giving your pantry and fridge a glow up so they actually support your health goals instead of secretly sabotaging them. Because here's the truth. A cluttered kitchen equals cluttered choices. But an organized, intentional stocked space, that makes blood sugar friendly eating so much easier and more joyful. So let's reboot your pantry together. Let's kick things off with a purge. You might be surprised at how many so-called healthy pantry items are quietly wrecking your blood sugar and your energy, mood, and cravings right along with it. So here's what to watch out for. Granola bars and protein bars. Many of these are just candy bars in gym clothes. Even keto or low carb ones can be packed with blood sugar spiking sweeteners like maltodextrin or processed binders. So you want to look for real ingredients and less than 5-gram net carbs when possible. Instant oatmeal packets, especially the flavored kinds. Even the heart-healthy ones often have 10 or more grams of sugar and no fat or protein to buffer that hit to your bloodstream. Also, look out for flavored yogurts. Even organic ones can have 15 to 20 grams of sugar per serving. So you want to opt for plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt and flavor it yourself with a sprinkle of cinnamon, berries, or vanilla extract and monk fruit sweetener. Also look out for anything low fat. Removing fat often means added sugar, starches, or gums to mimic texture. But fat is not the villain. It is your blood sugar's bestie when it's paired with carbs. So you want to choose full fat when you have the options. Also look out for juices and smoothies, especially the shelf-stable ones. Even green juices can carry 20 to 30 grams of sugar. So if you're going to juice, try to keep it homemade and add protein or fat to balance it out. The moral of the story, if it's labeled healthy, read it twice. Because there's a very good chance when you flip that package over and check for hidden sugar, you may find high glycemic flours or sweeteners that are just going to kick you in the booty. Okay, so now the fun part. Let's talk about stocking up on the good stuff. Fats, avocado oil, extra virgin olive oil, unrefined coconut oil, grass-fed ghee. These help slow digestion and curb cravings. So you also want to swap your pasta and rice. So you can look for hearts of palm pasta. That's one of our favorites. Things like palmini in a can or a pouch at Walmart or on Thrive Market or Amazon. You also want to look for chickpea or lentil pasta in moderation. Some people react more strongly to legumes like beans, and others, it doesn't affect them as much. So you can try it out and see what works for you. Also check out riced cauliflower, which is surprisingly versatile. Riced cauliflower and cauliflower in general tends to take on the flavor of the dish. So if you're not wild about plain cauliflower, try cooking it up or sticking it in a dish, and you'll be surprised at how much more tasty it is. You can also try shirataki noodles. These have a great texture when they're done right, and they're perfect for quick dinners and lunches like spaghetti. Just make sure if it has a smell, you extra rinse it. That's the key there. So some brands do a really good job of rinsing them before they package them, and some not so much. So if you find that it has a weird flavor or weird smell, make sure you rinse it really, really good before you cook it, and then that'll get rid of that smell and flavor. This is actually my husband's favorite noodles for spaghetti and all the things. So we keep a pretty good stock of shirataki noodles on hand for him. Also, you can try better bread and wrap options. You can choose egg thins. Even Aldi carries those. Egg thins, which are kind of like tortillas made of egg. You can also try coconut wraps or low-carb tortillas like Siete almond flour or Mission Carb Balance. I think that's the one that's carried by Walmart. But you'll definitely want to check for the maltodextrin as well. Also, there's some really great recipes for keto bread out and about as well, if you don't mind a little bit more of an eggy taste. So some of the keto breads in stores are pretty good. You'll just have to look out for those sweeteners like maltodextrin. Also, let's talk about some flavor without sugar. You could try coconut aminos instead of sugary soy sauce, which can be pretty inflammatory. You can also try Dijon mustard, apple cider vinegar, fresh herbs and spices, or condiments from Primal Kitchen or Tessemae's dressing. They tend to have much cleaner ingredients. Let's talk about some proteins you can keep on hand. Wild-caught tuna or salmon in water or olive oil, canned organic chicken or turkey, protein-rich bone broth. That can make a great base for soups or just for sipping. We tend to keep some shelf-stable proteins on hand. Makes for quick dinners and lunches. Smart snacks. You could try raw or sprouted nuts or seeds, nut butters with no added sugar, 90% dark chocolate squares, roasted chickpeas, keto crackers, or even pork rinds. We actually love pork rinds. My toddler loves pork rinds. Sometimes we sprinkle them with some smoked paprika, or they actually make a really great substitute for Chex Mix in puppy chow. If you use sugar-free chocolate and a sugar-free nut butter, they actually make a really good puppy chow, and you don't really notice the difference at all. Some sweeteners to swap in. You can try monk fruit, allulose, erythritol if you can tolerate it, if you're not having issues with your gut. But you want to avoid agave, maltodextrin, brown rice syrup, or evaporated cane juice, or corn syrup, or high fructose corn syrup. All of those things are still sugar. So try to avoid those. And allulose is actually now being considered a superfood because it helps rebuild your gut lining and lower your blood sugar. I actually am not insulin resistant currently, and so when we cook low carb, I actually have to be careful how much allulose I use. Otherwise, I can end up with my sugar in the 50s. So allulose is a fantastic thing to add into your system if you are struggling with your blood sugar control. Next, let's shine a light on some hidden sugar ninjas, like condiments. Ketchup often has more sugar per tablespoon than ice cream. So you try to opt for no sugar added versions when possible. Salad dressings, some have 6 to 10 grams of sugar per serving, which is only like a tablespoon. So there are tons of recipes online for keto dressings, so you can just search for your favorite and DIY it. They're actually fairly easy to make. Ranch, I've still struggled to get a good ranch, but most of the other dressings I find are fairly easy to make at home. Barbecue sauce, stir-fry sauce, and marinades. There are so many that are syrupy sweet and full of corn syrup and MSG. So you want to look for healthier brands like what I'll talk about next. If sugar is in your condiment, or any one of its 61 secret names, is in the first 3 ingredients, ditch it. Ingredients are listed from, in the US anyway, from the most content to the least. So if it's the first ingredient, that is what your product is made up of most. So if you find sugar in those first 3 ingredients, that means that the majority of what you're eating is sugar, at least, in the top third or so. So you want to look for brands like Primal Kitchen, Chosen Foods, Tessemae's, or you can make your own in like 2 minutes with olive oil, apple cider vinegar, mustard, and herbs, or something else simple like that. Now, let's talk about pantry zoning and creating a meal building flow. So this is actually one of my favorite upgrades, zoning your pantry by function instead of just by food group. So think of it like your own mini meal kit system. I actually use some small plastic totes in our pantry now as we've been trying to KonMari, our tiny apartment, to easily pull out a zone and then grab what I need. So you can create zones like protein grab and go. That tote can be full of canned tuna, jerky, safe keto bars, or, salmon or chicken, whatever it is that you keep on hand, protein-wise, in a protein bin. Then you can have quick sides like cauliflower rice, veggies, bean-based pastas, things that are kind of quick and easy to grab. Then you can have like a flavor station or a spice rack or something that has spices, sauces, vinegar, and oil, and all just kind of grouped together so you're not running around trying to find it all. It's just kind of all where you need it. Then you can have a snack zone. And this is actually one of the things that really helped us a lot. You can have your blood sugar friendly snacks kind of grouped together. So if you need to grab and go for something for a trip or an appointment or work or whatever, if you have, packages out some nuts or keto protein bars that are clean ingredients, or like OWYN has protein shakes. You can buy like individual ones. And, we have like this little snack bin that is just full of things for us to just grab and go. And it's so helpful because it keeps you from reaching for things when you're out and about that you shouldn't be eating, And so it's super helpful to have a tote for snacks. And then you can also have like your breakfast area. I do this with my husband's breakfast. You have your protein powder, your chia seeds, your almond flour, nut butter, whatever it is that you have like dry ingredients for your breakfasts. It's fantastic to just kind of group it all together so that when you're trying to get breakfast in the morning, you already know where everything is. If you're a shake person, keep your cocoa powder with your sweetener and your extract and all of that together in one area. It's just super helpful to help with your flow. And the easier it is, the more likely you are to keep up with it. So this makes meal planning and prep just so much easier because you're not mentally scanning through 40 shelves trying to find the things that you need every time you cook. And so you just need to look in the zones that you created for what you need. And that's just been super helpful for us. Now, visual organization actually equals less effort and more follow through. So you don't need a Pinterest perfect pantry, but you do need to see what you're working with. You can try clear bins and labeled jars and canisters for common items. Like we use these for canned goods. My baking flours are usually in, the BPA-free canisters with labels, nuts. You can also have one cabinet for your oils and sauces or a turntable. Like we just store ours in the cabinet above the oven. But we have them in a line so that if I need to buy more, I can see that there's no more bottles in that line, and then I'll go get another olive oil or whatever. So I don't tend to stack a bunch of things in one line. I just kind of keep everything the same and line it up. That way it's easy for me to just grab what we need. You can also have a dedicated shelf or tote for clean snacks that your whole family can grab. This is what we just talked about. Even we have a separate section for our toddler because she has some different allergies than us. So she has her allergy-friendly, safe snack zone. She can run up and grab something if she wants. It's just easier. The easier it is to see and reach your blood sugar-friendly staples, the more likely you are to actually use them and go to them as your first choice. And when your pantry and every place where you meal prep is decluttered and visually clean, it makes you feel more peaceful, like we've talked about in the previous episodes, and it makes you feel more in control, helps your cortisol, and it helps your blood sugar. So it's a total win-win. Okay, so what do I actually keep stocked in my pantry? So here's a quick little real life pantry peek from my home. We tend to keep tuna pouches and cans, some cans of chicken. It's not organic because we don't really get that around here, but cans of chicken for easy meals. Sometimes we have cans of salmon. We keep chia seeds and ground flax, unshredded coconut, almond flour, coconut flour, canned veggies. I love shopping at Aldi because they often have like BPA-free cans, so we typically have canned veggies for quick sides, or like I talked about before, shirataki noodles on hand, low-carb marinara sauce. I also love Magic Spoon cereal. I grew up in the U.S. with breakfast cereal every morning before I went to school. And so cereal in the mornings is kind of a thing for me, even as an adult. It's just very nostalgic. So we actually use some Magic Spoon cereal in our house, and they have some really great flavors. It's like nostalgic Fruit Loops and stuff. So we do tend to keep a little stock of Magic Spoon cereal on hand. We also keep allulose and monk fruit, the liquid and the powder or granular versions, just because we use them for so many different things. Erythritol as well at times if we're baking desserts. We also have Quest cookies in moderation. Quest does tend to use some more laxative style ingredients, but they are a fairly clean protein, like little cookie. And so it's really nice because when you're really just wanting something sweet, you want a cookie, you don't have to make it yourself. Our Walmarts carry Quest cookies, we found them to be some of the most tasty cookies we could find. We also usually keep dark chocolate on hand, whether it's sugar-free Bake Believe or just a really high percentage dark chocolate. Sometimes, you just need that chocolate hit. And so we tend to keep some healthier chocolates on hand. And we also keep some Primal Kitchen dressings or no sugar added ketchup, things that we use often. And, my husband loves his ranch. So we typically try and find a really low carb, low sugar ranch to keep on hand. And we still have brown bags and popcorn kernels for DIY popcorn and granola cereal for our toddler. We live in real life. So it's all about balance and not perfection. If you want a bowl of popcorn, get a bowl of popcorn. Just throw a bunch of butter on it. That way it helps decrease the carb spike when you eat it. So it's all about balance. So let's wrap this up with a little quick heart check. Proverbs 24:27 says, "Prepare your work outside and get everything ready for yourself in the field. And after that, build your house." So God designed us for order and intention. And while our worth is never measured by our pantry labels, the way we steward our homes can absolutely reflect our values, including health, rest, and freedom from food bondage. So your pantry is a part of your wellness walk. And rebooting it is not just a chore, it's a way to serve your future self and your family well and help you make those choices that you're going to be proud of. All right, friend, your challenge this week is simple. I want you to choose one zone or shelf in your kitchen to just reboot. Whether it's ditching the sugary dressings or creating a meal kit corner or just take one doable step. And if you do a full pantry makeover, tag me or shoot me a message because I love seeing your progress. So until next week, remember, you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and it's always progress over perfection.